What's going down, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Holmes Hobbies Motor Control. It's your boy Josh, aka Coleman, and you guys, you know what? I hope you're having a great day. Everyone keeps yelling at me to get back to the bench and do some more actual like building videos. You guys want to see some more builds, and you want to see some more of these electronics being installed and used, and how I use them and things like that. So, you know what? I'm not always going to do that. There's a lot of times where I'm going to be out on the trail. Actually, John enjoys it when I take these rigs out and I put them to use. So that's why I do a lot of trail videos too, and a lot of action videos where I take them out and I run them. But you know what? I feel the same way. I think it's about time we get back to the bench and we start building some cool stuff. So I started all kinds of builds throughout the year, and I haven't finished not near one of them. So I say we start working towards that. Right now I've got this bad boy. Let's just go ahead and take a look. This is my XJ build. Still haven't named it yet, but I'll come up with something. It is Axial SCX10 and I have a motor forward setup in it, the ESP anti-spur style, so not your typical setup. It's got leafs in the back, but I've also got kind of like a traction bar setup, or you know, the lower links essentially, to help keep it from having a bunch of axle wrap. And then that's really it. I mean, you know, I haven't gone too crazy with this. I started doing the floor a little bit, but I haven't finished, so it's just kind of sitting in there right now, and that's really it, man. So I've got a lot of parts for it. There's a whole bunch of parts there, and I've got a lot more parts on the wall over here that I need to get to, and we're essentially going to build this up to be a cool little trail rig, and I think this is going to turn it into a daily for me, something I run a lot. So anyways, that being said, let's get the body up here. Right now, how I have it set up to mount is basically we're going to have these little tabs come off here that go into my already made front bumper. There's there on either side, and then in the back I have a already made rear bumper, and I also made some little, well, I didn't even make them. I used leaf spring mounts, and these might be temporary. I have a feeling I'm going to cage this Jeep, but it's a start. So I did something like that, and that got the body where I need it. Everything is lined up right. The stance is nice. I like it. But yeah, and I don't have to put any screws through it. I like everything to be nice tight fit before I bolt it in. That way it's not just the bolts, and that way there's not a lot of pressure on the mounts. And I'll go like this, and then I got to finesse this inside piece off of there. Boom. Actually, let's set it on this side. Alright. Okay, and that's what it looks like right there. That's SCX10 chassis. It's pretty much stock up front. Got some funkiness going on with my bumper mount because I needed to extend the bumper out. I think what's going to happen is it's just going to get welded on there most likely. And then, yeah, got my ESP anti-spur setup up here. This is just homebrew setup using random parts I had laying around. Zoom in a little bit for you guys so you can see. Oh, that's why. We have a light out. I was wondering what was going on. It's dark in here. We've got a light out. I'm like, why is it so dark? I can't really see. Hold on a second. That's a little bit better. Not a lot, but a little bit. Had to switch to the big light up there. Help out. I can't believe that one light going out made such a big difference, but it did. Here's our ESP anti-spur layout. It just doesn't have a drive shaft attaching the two outputs right now. So yeah, that's it. That's it. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Works nice and easy. Works good. Shocks work good. The rear shocks I need to replace with some shorter ones and actually invert them in just a little bit. I mean, they function right now technically, but they're really stiff, so I want them a little bit softer than that. I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to put my ESC. I'm thinking that it's going to go right here, because now that I have the transmission how I have it, it frees up this space right here. I'll be able to just mount it pretty much right there. I've done it before on other ones and it fit, but that wasn't the SCX10 so I don't know, it may not fit the same. Anyways, let's see what happens. All right, now we've got some better light. I actually had to go get my tripod and another LED light to kind of fix the situation here. So, all right, I don't know how much battery's in that light, so let's go ahead and get started on this. All right, so for those of you that are new here, this is the TrailMaster BLE Pro ESC. This is my favorite ESC basically of all time. This thing is basically my go-to for almost every one of my builds now. I love it. Doesn't matter if I'm doing a slow rock crawling build or a super high powered, super fast build. It doesn't matter. This thing really covers everything. It's a do-it-all ESC for me. For those of you wondering, oh, why is there no fan? It doesn't need one. It runs nice and cool. I've put motors through crazy circumstances, and as long as you you know, don't do something like just flat out stupid, it's almost impossible to really hurt these. So anyways, let's go ahead and rip it open and see if we can't find somewhere to get it mounted. I don't want to cut a wire. So here it is right here. This is BLE Pro. This thing's awesome. It's good looking ESC, super clean. It's censored, brushless, can handle up to 6S. I run it usually on 3 or 4S. It's just awesome, man. It does work, and it's waterproof. So what I'm thinking is somewhere right here. I got this cable running here. Move that. I'm thinking somewhere in here. I'm just not sure if I want. Yeah, I'm thinking like this. Yes, perfect. It literally wedges in perfect between the transmission and the side of the. Look at that. I can even turn it upside down. That's how perfect that is. Wedges in there. So that's where that's gonna go for sure. I'm gonna have to get some double stick tape, something to lock it in, maybe a zip tie. And then now I gotta route these cables so they don't hit anything. I don't want any drama. See, the problem is I don't know where my receiver is gonna go yet. So thinking the receiver is gonna go right up here somewhere. There's a little bit of room right here. This could be perfect for the receiver. If I do this right, I could get these to line up. I think that's it. And I'll zip tie them in. I like that. Just stacked nicely right there. I'll zip tie them in place. Nice. I like clean wiring, so that's definitely gonna be where that goes. Now I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with this power wire. So I have no clue where I don't know where the battery is gonna go on this yet. I'm pretty sure it's gonna go in the back. So this will probably just run straight into the back. Yeah, we'll just have to see. All right, I had to go track down some zip ties, but looks like we're back in the game here. Basically, I'm thinking I want them to come around like this, but I don't want them to touch this drive shaft over here. So I'm thinking they're gonna need to be zip tied in 2 places to keep that from happening. Which I was gonna cut these off because I knew I wouldn't need them, but I'm glad I didn't because it looks like they're coming in handy now. So I do that right there, and you don't want to go too tight because you may need to adjust these a little bit. So I'm thinking another one right over here into the top. We'll loop it. We'll go back in through the bottom. There we go. Don't want to go too tight. Just enough to hold everything where it should be. Thinking that's looking pretty good. Awesome. There we go. Now we've got our main motor wires ran. Now we can figure out, basically at this point, where the rest of it's going to have to go to. I think my biggest thing is I need to figure out where the receiver is going to be. Okay, next up we've got to install a sensor wire. Now I've got a couple of these here. I always make sure I have these laying around. Some of them I run without sensors, or without the sensor wires, and other ones I run with it. You can see these are 2 different links, but they are the same cable. So This one's been used quite a bit. I have a feeling I'm gonna go for this one right here. I think this one's brand new. These motors do come with the sensor wire. I just installed this one, and I'm pretty sure this is probably actually the one that came with it. I just didn't want it hanging off, floating around. So we'll go ahead and install this. You can see in the back there is where it installs. It can only go one way, so don't worry about that. Just make sure you look first. The pins are on one side of the plug. Get that in, and then you got to figure out how you're going to route it. Now, this may turn into an issue for me, as I don't know if I've got a long enough cable here. I didn't really think that one through, did I? I think we've got just enough here. Alright. It is going to work. Alright, that could not have gotten any better than it is right now. Basically, here is our sensor wires run from the sensor port, and you see they're still a little loose. You don't want them to be tight. If they're pulled tight, then you're going to wind up having problems down the road. They need a little bit of room to play. And then here it runs from between the transmission and the ESC. There's just enough room. Ran it behind the other wires there. Up between the motor and the servo, right through here, you can see I've got the SHV500 mounted there, right next to a Puller Pro. This is a 3500 kV standard size, right? It comes right through the middle, and then onto the other side where you can see there's just enough play, I can get it to loop around and plug in, and we just lost our light. So I think that's probably it. That's perfect. I still got to figure out what I'm going to do for a receiver, where I'm going to get that. And then before I can solder a Deans on here, I need to figure out where I'm going to mount my battery so I can make sure I have the right length. But that is that's it right there. We've got the TrailMaster BLE Pro installed. We've got a SHV500 servo right here. This is a 12-volt servo, and then we've got a Puller Pro 3500 kV 540 motor, all in this little SCX10 with a leaf sprung rear conversion. So I am pretty excited for this thing. I think it's going to be awesome. It's going to be really low geared. It's going to run a lot like the it'll probably be almost identical wheel speed wise to the Kaiser build. So it's pretty much the same layout as what I did there. So I'm pretty hyped on this. All right, guys, that's it for today's episode. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Nothing too crazy. You know, it's one step at a time. If you did enjoy it, don't forget to hit that like button. Of course, subscribe, and smash that notification bell. That way you don't miss an upload. That's going to be it. I'm out of here. You guys know what it is. Peace and chicken grease, fam. Yeah.